How you doing, guys? It's Andrew at Elite Gaming HQ, and this video is going to be my review of the RX 480. Now, if you guys been following the channel, you see my last video where we benchmarked the RX 480 against Doom in 1080p Ultra, and well, the results were amazing. The card crushed Doom and sat at an 85 FPS. If you want to check out that video, I'll put the link in the description, and you can go see that after today's benchmarks. And in the background, you can kind of count this as a benchmark as well. This is The Witcher on 1080p Ultra. This is a beautiful game, and it's very demanding, but I just put it in the background so you can see some performance of this card. So today, the test bench we're going to be using is my ASRock motherboard with a AMD 8350 liquid cooled by a Corsair H60. The card tucks right into the 240 Air Corsair Micro ATX case. The card is about 9.5 inches long and it sits about 4 inches deep, which leaves plenty of room. And in fact, with this motherboard and case combination, I could actually fit two of them in there. As you can see, that 9.5 inches though is mostly cooler, and the card itself is really not that big. So it's going to be interesting to see what some aftermarket coolers can do to this card to fit in even smaller builds. But for now, this is what we have, and it fits in there great. Here's a size comparison here, fitting next to the 270X MSI and also an old NVIDIA card. It is a 2-slot card, so you're going to need plenty of space if you feel like running two of them. Alright, so our two benchmarks today will be games that I remember being very harsh to run. Even though they're a little bit old, they'll still take your PC through the paces. The games we're going to test today are Bioshock Infinite, because it has a great benchmark rating in the game, and also the Shadows of Mordor. We're going to run both games in 1080p and in Ultra. Alright, so the first one to go is Bioshock Infinite, but as Bioshock's playing, let me give you some information of the card. The card only requires one 6-pin connector. As I mentioned before, the reference cooler is huge. It's simple, but it's also amazing. I couldn't even hear the reference cooler, even if the card's under a heavy load. So I was happy about that. The card comes with one HDMI 2.0 port and 3 display ports. For me, I just got a DisplayPort adapter so I can run my 2 HDMI monitors without a problem. It features 5.8 teraflops, base clock is 1120 megahertz, it has 36 compute units, and 2304 stream processors, with a 256-bit memory interface. Now for a lot of you that's not going to mean much, but the benchmarks will speak for themselves. And as you can see, this game is beautiful, and I did notice that it dropped frames a little bit in the beginning, and that could be because the benchmark is not optimized, or that it really beats up your GPU. But we'll take a look at all the benchmarks at the end. Now looking at this, you can see that even though this game's a couple years old, it's still a beast to run on Ultra. Although we're pulling really good numbers. 140s, I saw a little bit higher. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot of atmosphere, they put in fog, they got stuff floating around, all stuff to really test the power of your GPU. And that's it, so we can look at the write-up now. Let's see what we got. Okay, so on the very left you have the timer, and then the right number is the average, and then it has it on basically every half second. So there you go, so that'll be your second number there. And if you look, we got great numbers, and then you can see where it slowed down, which I mentioned before. Look at the numbers here, we're in high 100s, drops down a little bit, but really what we're concerned with is an overall average frame per second. And overall, the average is ridiculously high. So that's great. We'll go on to our next benchmark, but at the bottom here, it'll show you what system we ran. And there's all our system information, and it has me under Windows 8, which I'm actually using 10. Okay, well there's that, so let's look at the Shadows of Mordor, which also has a great benchmarking software built into it. Okay, so we gotta make sure everything's on Ultra, and it is. Now Shadows of Mordor is a great game, and it's highly graphically demanding. If you've never played Shadows of Mordor, I really recommend it because you can pick it up for real cheap. It's beautiful, has a very unique combat system where the enemies level up based on their encounters with you, and they all have their own personalities, and you can also finagle with their hierarchy system to make certain people lead to press your advantage. It's a great game, it's beautiful, as you can see, with the explosions, the rain, the like beehives that you can even just drop on people, the mounts that you can ride. It's a great game, and look at it, it's just beautiful. We're getting pretty solid numbers. They're actually really good. Dropped to 54 though. Alright, so we got an average frames per second of 105 and a max of 187, and it did drop down to 53. That's really impressive. I want to see you try to pull that off with some other video cards. So my overall thoughts, now that I have the card, it's a huge upgrade from my 270X. Seems to be working really well. I would say it's hard not to recommend this card for the price point that it's at. And you know, I've watched other people's videos too. I went and watched other people's reviews and their personal opinions, and they agree with me. I mean, the video guys, everybody's just saying that this card's amazing for what it is, and that at this point right now, this is the best GPU performance for your money. And that's kind of where AMD likes to sit. The performance per dollar in AMD is usually really well. NVIDIA is always a little bit ahead, but AMD has the best value. So I would recommend getting the card if you're looking for an upgrade. If not, if you're willing to wait a little bit, I would say wait and let's see what NVIDIA does to counter this. I mean, they're going to have to do something, right? Their 1060 should be on par with this, so let's see what they do. Maybe you'll be able to get that for 200 bucks. So that's my final thoughts. I would say if you're really looking for an upgrade right now, go ahead and buy it. Wait a couple weeks where you can get different coolers maybe, so you can have something unique, then buy it. Or just wait for NVIDIA's 1060. I mean, most of us don't have the money to buy the 1080 or even the 1070, so this card seems like a really viable option. Well, that's just my opinion. In the videos to come, I'm going to try to bottleneck this card by putting it in a very weak system, and we'll see how it performs and benchmark it. And also, I could give you guys a little buyer's guide for a couple $100 PC. Well, we're talking probably $400, $500 PC that'll beast with this card in it. But until those videos, or until next time, I hope I see you in the live streams Sunday or Monday, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, 9:30 p.m. that is. Or check out one of my videos on Wednesdays or Fridays. That's the schedule. We don't really keep it because of the fact that I do so many more videos or live streams than the schedule actually implies, but on those days you're guaranteed to get content from this channel. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. This is Andrew at Elite Gaming HQ. Bye, guys.
Just let me shoot you! No! I've tapped this button for years.
The shotgun wrecks people.
Surprise, motherfucker! That body on.
Baited you.
Oh, I fucking had you.
You had nothing.
I pulled that trigger.
I let you think you had me.
Ugh.
I let you think it. That's all it was.
You thought what I made you think.
Exactly.